Hello everybody, my name is Dreamworks and welcome to Crossout Clan Wars. I have some nice Helios matches for you today, and I have some games where we pushed the enemy hard multiple times, which was awesome. Left the intro in here with his chat because we didn't see the builds at the beginning because I started recording a bit late, but I can tell you that they were playing a Fortune Spider, 2 Cannon Spiders, and the last guy was a Reaper Spider. So now that we got that covered, today's strategy that we are looking at, because all of these games include the same strategy, is basically just pushing and hard pushing. And also the first round here versus chat shows why it's important when you go for a push, it's important to follow it, especially versus their setup where they can just wear us down and we can't really fire back because we have no long range. We are actually playing a Helios Hover, 2 Aspect Spiders. And the last guy is a, what is he? I honestly do not even remember what we had on the team as the last guy. I think, yeah, it's actually 3 Aspect Spiders. So we're full machine guns and Helios, so we have to close in on that range, and we have to get close on range as fast as possible, because if we don't, the cannons and the long range Fortune will just wear us down over time. The Reaper not so much, because the inaccuracy of the Reaper on long range distances doesn't really make it all that frightening. So we just wanted to push in on them quickly, which we did quite well here, but not in the first round. And I'll tell you guys why. As you can see, we sort of stalled our push there down through the mid lane, and that was not really the best idea to do, because that gave them some time to retract down through to their cap. And giving them that time allows them to reposition themselves, get into cover once again where they can take their peak shots, and again holding up that push instead of just going ham on it, and again leaving them a lot of room to retract even further and keep that distance where the tsunamis or the typhoons for that matter will just be so superior to aspects. So that's also why we get so wrecked here. So I basically just called to go in, go deep and get in there. Sadly though, they already have their pretty good positions, and then out of nowhere I learned the hard way that the Aegis does not block the Fortune. Look at Yelly here coming to me. What the f. Yeah, as you can see, the Fortune just absolutely chewed through my Aegis and did not give a crap. I actually don't know if the projectiles can pierce through the Aegis and explode inside. I would expect the Fortune ammo to be considered projectiles like anything else, but obviously it doesn't. So for some reason it didn't block. Is what it is. We lost the first round simply because our push was not good enough. It is as simple as that. It really is. The guys still trying to fight here, still trying to go for that cap, because we have the cap. They decided to pull back from the cap instead of actually standing their ground, which is one thing that I also want to address, that people are too afraid in this game, so to say. Like, sometimes trading some damage for some damage is good if it means that you can actually stand your ground and keep the good position on people. So personally that's what I would do, but we got destroyed at the beginning because our push was bad, so we ended up losing the first round nevertheless. Moving on here into the second round though, we're so much more consistent with our push this time, so that just made an entire, like, so much difference for us. I tried to gain some high ground here on them just to make them look for me, to give a window for the guys to push, and that worked surprisingly well. They full on fell for the bait and decided to aim for me, all of them, and allowed the aspects to get super close, as you can see. And at this point it's just so critical to keep on going. Again, there was a bit of hesitation on the team, but they definitely, like, we executed this so much better than we did before. And now see what happens. We have a full high ground here just to shoot down on them, but they also, like, they haven't had the time to actually fall back enough to get into cover. So already here they're getting super worn down. The high ground is so much easier when it comes to actually dealing damage to them when they're sitting down there. It's so stressful to shoot down or up on people rather than shooting down on people, because it's so easy to hide when you have the high ground like we do right now. Then by accident I fell down. I didn't really focus on my position enough, so I fell down, but it doesn't really matter because we pushed them out of the cap and we can cap easily again, putting some stress on them, which is the plan when we push like this. We just want to stress them a lot. And that worked surprisingly well, so as you can see we have a very good position on them right now. They either have to come out of their cover and actually fight back at us, but we're all still in very good shape, so it isn't really a problem. do take a nasty hit here to my guns, is what it is. I only lose one, so it didn't really cripple me or anything, which is good. But as you can see, the cap almost at 3, so now they have to desperately just push in. And if there's one thing you don't want to do, it's pushing into machine guns. That is, like, especially with the cannons that they have on their team, that really stresses them. So the second round was really, really nice win there. They literally did exactly what we wanted them to do in order to let us cap and put pressure that way. And that really inspired here in the third round, because the third round was literally perfectly executed. They never really got a foot into the game here, because that machine gun pressure on them is just so nasty. The only thing I would have done differently, if I should have done something differently, was not to run the same way, like the direction that I was in, but just to go straight for that ramp down to their spawn, so they again do not reposition. But it is what it is. We still have a very nice position on them, as you can see, landing a lot of nice damage, dodging those fortunes so they don't cripple me. Fortunes are so scary when you play a hover, so I always try to just do my best to stay out of their line of sight, because I don't want to fight them unless I have to. They just destroy hovers so easily, especially that bounce. It's so easy for fortunes to deframe a hover, so just trying to hide from it. But as you can see, a lot of nice pressure into them. They can't do much about this. And the D-gun there, when we get close to the Reba, it's so easy to D-gun that Reba. So he gets D-gun there, and then it's just the cannon guys over there, which can't do much at this close range, because that long cooldown, if they don't have cover between the cooldown when they can shoot, then they won't ever get that necessary damage in to actually D-gun the aspects as well. So we really gained the upper hand on them here in the third round. And at this point, we're just trying to clean up the last of the kills, so they don't go for our cap all of a sudden or something like that. Not that they would be able to, because we already have 2 points at this time. But we're just trying to finish them off and wrap this match up. But I get cap canned, so not an ideal situation, but the team is dead already, so it is what it is. Like, I don't mind it. It's a necessary sacrifice. I like to think of it that way. But that rounds off the first game, so let's move on to the second game, which is versus the clan LASN. And LASN is a clan that plays some Typhoons. They have a melee, then they have a Helios hover as well, I think they had. And this match as well was actually pretty good. It was again some well executed push strategies. Old Town is one of those interesting push maps, because you can easily get into that cap early on, and that can put on some stress onto people. But Old Town is also a map where you can rotate around the cap a lot, so it's actually hard staying in cap, because people can really flank you from all sides, and you can make some really quick rotations, which is also what makes the map fun. But it is, or it can be, rather stressful. So we're trying to here to just first get them to reposition into a position that we like, so that we can rotate around the right side. And if we can't do that, then just at least put some pressure on them here and get them close enough where the aspects and the Helios is most deadly. Especially for the aspects. If they get close to the aspects, they're D-gun within seconds, and that is far from ideal. So we get on a really good position on them here, and they try to keep the cap. So now we do what I said in the beginning. We just rotate around the cover here and keep firing at them from different angles. Their melees are coming in, so the melees, we start out by handling those. They came in from the direction that we expected through our cap, so the cap cans were ready, and it wasn't really that hard to fight them. They do get one of us pinned here, but it's just 3 aspects can D-gun those from the sparks so easily, so we don't have to think too much about the melees anymore. And that gave me some room to move into cap. I gave the order to move closer to cap just as the dogs moved in, so I also forgot to just follow up that order with finish the dogs first. So Bio made a sacrifice that will be remembered nevertheless. But it also gave us some time, because the other 2 guys actually kept on focusing Bio, so we could just handle those dogs so easily. And while we did, we gained the the 2 versus 3 advantage, and we could just finish off the rest of the guys. A lot of damage there on the Typhoon player, bringing him down, and that is the wrap for the first round. So let's move on to the second round. And the second round really was just sort of similar, honestly. again, some of the same strategies. Just moving to church this time, because church is also a nice place. It really depends on the setup that we play in, whether we go left or right, or like the setup that we're facing. It's all about that. But Old Town has a lot of nice choke points, so we like to use the choke points to go give it some hard time for the melees. And again, as you can see, it's hard for them because there's so many turns, so they won't really get that speed buff for the lances, which is the most ideal situation you could be in when playing these dogs. And besides that, it's just a horrible map. Like, it's a terrible map. The close quarter fight is nice, yes, but it is literally close to impossible to navigate through. So yeah, I personally hate the map, and I would have liked to see that map get reworked before Control 17 was remade, but I guess we can't have it all. Finishing off those dogs, well, I just tried to reposition because I don't want to be in that close quarter fight while the dogs are actually near, and I'm getting kind of low here. Sort of pre-fired that shield, but he still shot into it, so I'm kind of glad about that. And he luckily missed the second shot on my cabin. The Helios is degunned, by the way, that's why we disregard him. And now I just try to get behind the cannon so he doesn't shoot at me, but take some shots into cap instead, so that I can stay somewhat out of range, which also went rather well. So the semi-aggressive behavior in this really helped us finish them off in the first round, where we just wanted to get them close so we could just go full on ham on them. And then the second round, again, just bait the dogs in, finish off the rest. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, third game. And here we have WBC, and do note that there's only one round here because the guys, I don't know if they disconnected for the second round or what happened, but they left. They might just not want to play it. We played somewhat of a counter to their setup, so it is what it is. Like, I mean, I would have probably done the same if there's no way you feel like you're gonna win against them. If their goal is to uranium farm just like we do, then I honestly respect them for just leaving, because if they see themselves losing the second round as well, and they've got a 0% feel like they have a 0% chance of getting uranium, then so be it. I don't mind it. Like, it's just a game after all, and if people want to grind uranium, then they're gonna grab the method that is the fastest for grinding uranium. I did actually complain about this early on, I know that, but what I complained about is people leaving instantly, so you don't get any uranium, because then you spend 2-3 minutes in queue waiting for people that just instantly leaves, and then you get no uranium because you didn't get any score. Which brings me to another funny point that you actually saw in my previous video, I think, yeah, the Lance video, where 2 of my clan members actually didn't get any uranium because we got to the draw cap, and as soon as the time runs out, no one gains points, even though the game continues until someone caps the draw cap, which is a big issue in my opinion. At least give the winning team like points for capping the draw cap, so that everyone gets at least those 50-40 points or whatever you need in order to get uranium. Devs, I'm looking at you, okay? But the second round here, you can see we just went for that cap immediately to force them to come closer. They were all cannon spiders, so it's so hard for them when it's like there's only close quarters on this map. So it's so freaking hard for them to actually do a proper fight with us at range when we take cap, because they can't really get a long distance to the cap. So that was just like, that was the biggest game changer in this round, and the main reason that we won, in my opinion. But I will take it any day. And that also rounds off this game. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another video. Don't forget to drop that like button down there below. We're harvesting likes at the moment, and it's so nice, so keep it coming. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're closing in on 3K, and I'm really enjoying what we do. So keep on doing what you guys do, and I'll keep on doing what I do. Until next time, you guys must have an awesome day. Goodbye.